Hello everyone, it's Sean. This is a shot of probably my most favorite picture I've taken thus far, particularly on my new iPad, which I love, by the way. If you have the money and the needs for one, they are very handy. But this is my favorite picture by far because you've got the Zephyr system, my authorized personnel only sign, my bottle opener, my brewery, and my new little throttles over on the left hand side there. And this is probably the most recent addition to my layout, is my bottle opener. And to prove something, cold one, Spotted Cow. This stuff is awesome. Good stuff. So here's my brewery. It's just a little thing. Spot 3 cars here once in a while, or 2, whatever. Got a little car show going on. I think this is going to be the centerpiece of my layout for any layout I build, because it seems to get the most attention. It's just neat, simple, and I think that's its elegance. I've had people say, hey, why not more beer bottles? Well, I think 4 works just great. I tried putting another one in over there, and it's just kind of big. In fact, to prove my point, I'll put this in here quick. And for me, that just seems, I don't know, doesn't seem quite right. 4 seems to be the magic number, so there we go. That just seems to fit better. So, a couple of updates. I've got 2 little throttles now, and these things are wicked awesome. I've got my genset running on here, my BNSF, and in my little 2703 here. Oh, it'd be helpful if I took the brake off. And these are just the neatest little things. I love them. They're convenient. They're handy. I've got one plugged in around the back here. And these boards are super cheap. I think I picked mine up for less than $5 a pop or something like that. Or maybe it was $7. I don't remember. But they're super handy. They're not IR or radio frequency, which I don't want to use. I think that the tether is just a lot safer. It's more it's more consistent. You get a quicker throttle response, which there is still a little bit of a delay, but it's not as bad as IR or radio from what I've seen and operated. Aside from my genset there, my GP39-2 there, my other genset, and my SW1500 over on the end there. This is the rest of my operating fleet right here, right in this little row. My F45 Burlington Northern, my SD60, I believe, Tiger Stripes, GP39-2, all 3 in Burlington Northern, obviously, my Santa Fe U23B, Green Bay Western RS11, -840B BNSF, and my GP40-2. Now that genset there, the blue one, I think I'm going to have that repainted for Burlington Northern. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to paint one end white and green, and the other end's going to be tiger stripes, and that includes painting the cab similar to this. So you'll have one cab, I suppose it'd be more like this, and another cab like this. And it'll be the same kind of just, simple black and green out of that white pinstriping, which I think that is the Cascade paint job, or it could just be green and black as Cascade. I honestly don't know. I think I've heard them both refer to different names. But anywho, on to more news. My new tabletop is in, and it works good. It's a little bit short, but I'm not going to complain because it's in, and that's all I care about. I'm happy. And another little update here for you, and I've got it all written down, haha, so I don't forget. I'd like to thank, before I go on to my next bit, which is going to become the focus of some of my future videos, I'd like to thank all of my followers, new and old. I know I've gotten several more recently from my antics on Facebook. I think I'm part of like 30 some groups on there now, from Live Steam, HO, Burlington Northern, BNSF, all kinds of places. And I want to thank everyone on those channels and that's involved in them for the pictures, for the comments, for the posts, because it is helpful to me as a modeler, and I know it's helpful to other people. Not only is it a source of entertainment and a way to enjoy my time online and when I'm bored, but it's a great source of information, of comments, of feedback, and all kinds of stuff. And I do want to put out a sincere thank you to all my followers here on YouTube, everyone who participates on Facebook. If you're not on there, honestly, my favorite part about Facebook is the pictures and talking to people about trains. That is it. That is my reason to be on Facebook. There's some funny pictures, there's some car stuff on there, but my favorite part about it is literally talking to people and networking about trains. I'm going with a friend this next Sunday down to Chicago. I've never been rail fanning outside of Sturtevant or Milwaukee, so I'm going down to Chicago to follow some IHB and BNSF and get some pictures. But on to my next bit. Like I said, I'm part of some live Steam groups on Facebook, and this is why. This is going to be my riding car for my locomotive that I'll eventually build, which will probably be after a gen set of some sort, just a scaled down, lesser model, I guess. As you can see, I've got some hardware on it. I've got the coupler. I've got a couple of eye hooks here. I've got a big one over here for attaching a chain. I've got U-bolts attaching the wood to the aluminum frame down here. I bought this originally as a tender frame from a gentleman at the High Oaks Railroad. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't know how comfortable people are with it yet, so I'm not going to do it. But I do want to thank everyone up at the Milwaukee Light Engineering Society for yesterday, Saturday the 12th. I had a great time. I look forward to joining the club. I'll be doing that next weekend when I come back up there. And it was a great time. I got to go around a few times. I did not get to operate, and that's fine. I just want to enjoy myself. I had a great time talking to people, getting ideas and such. But back to this. I've got my pedestal on its way from Amazon.com for like 28 bucks. I got a 14-inch swiveling pedestal I can screw into this, and I've got a couple of old seats from my projects. We're working on hot rods and stuff for my rat rod that never got finished. And I'll be using one of those seats on this guy. So this will be my operator's car. I just need to find some trucks for it. Some new Tom B's. And I outlined the frame before I cut the board out, because I figured it'd be handy for drilling holes and placing stuff and measuring. So I did that, and I actually got it pretty dead nuts on. I have no idea how much weight this thing will support. It's a solid aluminum frame. But from what I hear, the guy who sold it to me, who built it himself, is a very good craftsman, and it's a very high quality piece, so I'm very happy. And next, I suppose, would be my new sections over here. But let's watch this train go by here first. You'll see my new mechanical reefer. I picked it up from Southside Trains here in Milwaukee. It's the third car from the last. Right after my Milwaukee Road covered hopper. And on to the next bit. As I said, I was going to be repainting a locomotive, my gen set. That is inspiration after I saw a few things on Facebook. I believe it was the Burlington Northern page, or the Burlington Northern Modelers, or something to that effect. Well, I have an N-scale SD70 ACE CSX that will be getting painted Burlington Northern as well. And I haven't decided if I'm going to go with the executive scheme or if I'm just going to do the green and black. I noticed that Intermountain released the executive scheme Burlington Northern in a green and black Burlington Northern in their ES44 AC series, I believe. So And I may buy more gen sets to do more paint schemes, because I really like the idea of doing kind of fallen flags for those. And I think that's it for painting locomotives. I don't think I'm going to get anything else painted. If I do, it might be that U23B, just do a quick patch on it or something. But as you'll see around the rest of the layout now, there are tabletops and there's almost a full loop of track. I still need to buy two corners, or two sets of 26 and I think it's 26 and 3/8 inch radius. And I'll have another full loop so I can have two trains going around in circles. And that'll be nice. Just to go in more circles, because it's fun. So, the next thing I wanted to touch on are some of the drawbacks to the Zephyr system. As I mentioned before, I think in one of my videos, I've had trouble with locomotives stopping and going on their own. It happens regularly with some engines. It doesn't happen at all with others, and today I had the experience. I didn't recognize that the system was full. And I should have known as soon as I went to put my RS11 on the tracks and started operating it, that my little buddy throttles over there wouldn't take the number. And so I put another different engine on, which I didn't realize I already had the number in the system, and it would stop and go every few feet. And I looked at the system and I realized it was full. And it can only handle 20 addresses at a time, which means your 20 current addresses active in the system, which is why you need to dispatch each locomotive. So here, you put the locomotive number in there. Say we have 525, and you just hit exit. That'll clear that locomotive out of the system. Or when you're operating the buddy throttle, what you'll do is I have number 2703 programmed here. So we'll turn the lights off, and then we'll dispatch it. Oh, wrong one. Guess it's not working. Anywho, this is the dispatch button, and it's supposed to dispatch the locomotive. Maybe it's because of the parking brake. No? Well, I thought the light was supposed to go red. Maybe not. Let's see if it still controls the engine. Yeah, it's still going. So let's get it back over in the safe zone. I'll have to look into this, because it's supposed to dispatch the engine. I don't know if you have to hold it down a certain amount of time. I haven't really read into it. I haven't done it before. But that's how it's supposed to work, from what I'm told. Anywho, I want to touch on a couple other things here real quick. I know this video is getting to be a bit longer. I do apologize. I'm going to wrap it up here shortly. One other thing I wanted to touch on was the Bachmann and Spectrum DCC systems. I had both of them. I recently sold them both at a flea market. And the reason I did that is because the Bachmann system, I mean, it's a good system for starting out, but it has a hard time with sound units that I found, or just two locomotives. If you've got any kind of freight behind them, or even one big locomotive, like a large 6-axle Athearn and some cars behind it, it has a hard time. And that's understandable. I mean, there's a good bit of power draw there. And with the Dynamis system being an infrared system, it was very useful in programming my sound locomotives, my MTH electrics. It was very nice for that. But it was just a lot of trouble. It was unreliable. It had a lot of problems with keeping a signal. I could be 3 feet away, I'd have a great signal. I'd take 1 step away, I'd have no signal. I'd take 2 steps away, I'd have signal again. And it was just troublesome. So I sold it. I got 25 bucks for both systems and 1 power supply. It's the only one I could find. Guy came back, said, "Hey, where is it?" I'm like, "Dude, you just bought, $200 and some worth of DCC systems for 25 bucks. Don't complain." I hate when people do that. I'd hope that people don't do that. I mean, if you're getting a smoking deal on something, there's probably a reason why. If you don't like it, don't buy it. It's that simple. Don't complain if you just got a smoking deal on it. But next thing I want to touch on is my little maintenance of way train I'm working on here. It's just a couple of gondolas with some rock loads and an excavator in it. I just think it's something that's neat. Nothing really too special, but it's a modern thing, and I'm not exactly known for my modern modeling such as this, which, being that I like the modern railroads, I don't do much of this stuff, but I'm working on it. I'm going to start getting some more construction equipment. I'm going to use my Atlas 89-foot flat car to hold some of it. I'm going to throw a pair of probably my GP39-2s together for it to lash up and have maybe 8 or 12 freight cars together to make up my maintenance of way train, just for doing minor repairs and maintenance on the track and right of way. So let's see. Go back to this guy here where all my information is. My dream bike, the Suzuki ZX14R. Alright, so I got the Digitrax drawbacks, the SD70 ACE, Spectrum Dynamics System, future plans, live stream, tabletops, followers. My next videos, maintenance of way. Names for my towns. After talking on a live Steam site on some threads, I decided, as a way to bring some more humor into the hobby, since I'm a big Mel Brooks fan, I'm going to name my towns. They're going to be completely out there, but they're going to be Judea and Rockridge. And when I do the city, that'll be a little bit different, obviously, but I think this will be Rockridge. I mean, it's just a simple little thing. And just 2 little spurs here for businesses. And then this will be Rockridge. No specific reason why. I just think they just fit those names a little bit better. And if anyone has any ideas for a name for the city, which will be over here on this whole section, it'll be kind of more like a Chicago theme. But if anyone has any ideas for names, I have not seen all the Mel Brooks movies, but I've seen what I like, what I think are the best. Not the biggest fan of the producers, but Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, History of the World Part 1, great movie. And yeah, so that's it for now. I hope everyone has a good time. My next video, I'm gonna practice it because I haven't done it in a while, but lashing up locomotives in different directions. So that means having my 2 GP39-2s opposing or running elephant style, and how to set them up so that they'll run properly either direction. And I might show how to do different things, like changing CVs, which is a huge pain, to match speeds, which is one other thing I want to touch on quick while I've got just under 2 minutes left. If you're going to match speeds on a pair of locomotives, like my 2 GP39-2s run really well together. My Dash 8, my U23B run really well together. But just because it's from the same brand does not mean it'll run well together. Like my Gen 6, my Dash 39-2s, and my GP40 won't run together. They're just at different speeds. That's just all there is. Something between the motor, the gearing, and maybe even the DCC. But you can change the CVs to get that working better for you. Athearns, I found that they run really well together. Even my U30C Atlas over there, I'll go over there quick, run really well together. I can lash up any of these 4 Milwaukee Road locomotives and they run great. One thing you have to worry about is using back EMF with them. If you run back EMF with the different locomotives, you can have some trouble. The Genesis series runs alright with itself, but for some reason the longer F45 PHs and the shorter F45s don't like to run together for some reason. But that's it. I'm almost out of time. So with that, I'll say adieu. Or adieu, however the French say it. I'm not French and I don't speak it, so I don't claim to know how to say it correctly, but The engine I'm going to build in Live Steam is a gen set, and I've got 3 seconds left, so goodbye everybody.